things. Usually we talk about collections of numbers, right, in math, but a set is really just a collection of any sort of object. You can have a set of humans, a set of giraffes, a set of numbers, whatever. And when we write sets, we put them in curly brackets. So natural numbers, we sort of talked about natural numbers yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just the counting numbers. And if it goes on forever, we use ... Same with the integers. The integers include the negatives and they include 0. So we put a ... before and a ... after just to show that they're going forever in both directions. Okay, so absolute value. Anyone tell me what the absolute value is? Give me sort of a description. Yep, Ella, right? Perfect. That's the exact definition. So distance. Oh, my handwriting is struggling today. Away from 0. So like you can think of a number line is sometimes helpful. Basically just as saying if you're measuring a distance, you're never going to give something a negative distance, right? So I'm never going to start measuring myself from the top and say I'm negative 5'11". It just doesn't make sense, right? So we're always going to make absolute values positive. So we're going to talk about what's inside the little bracket. So the absolute value of 0 is going to be 0, right? Because 0 is 0 away from 0 on a number line. How about negative 5? Positive 5, right? Because we're going to move 5 away from 0 on the number line. Negative 7.12. Positive 7.12, yeah. So it's sort of easy if there's just one number inside of your little bracket. It's just going to be the positive version of that number. So the absolute value of 5 is just 5 again, right? Yeah. So sometimes it is the same. Same with 7.12. A fraction doesn't make it really any different, right? The absolute value of 3/4 is 3/4. Guys are experts already. Okay, now they get a little bit tougher, but not super hard. So again, we're going to figure out what's inside the bracket first. So 11 minus 2. Anyone? 9. Perfect. So 9. So that turns into 9, but we still have this absolute value on it, right? But the absolute value of 9 is what? 9, right? So I always want to do what's on the inside, just like if you're doing the order of operations on a regular problem. These sort of are like parentheses. We want to do what's inside of those before we take any sort of absolute value. Now this one, we have a negative on the outside, so we're going to leave that out there. Now what's 20 minus 2? 18, right? So we want to do what's on the inside. 18. So what's the absolute value of 18? Just 18, right? But since this negative out here is on the front, it's going to stay there. Because it's not inside of the absolute value, so we don't need to change it at all. So the negative absolute value of positive 18 is just negative 18. So since it's out on the front, you want to keep it there. Okay, addition of signed numbers. Here's some more number line stuff. So it's telling us use directed numbers on the number line to add positive 3 and negative 5. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start at 0. So we start at 0. So like, I could even pretend like you're standing at 0. So if I'm standing at 0, if I want to add 3, I'm going to go positive 3 on the number line. So 1, 2, 3. Now I'm standing at 3. If I want to subtract 5, I'm going to go backwards 5. So if we're drawing it, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go back 5 on the number line. So I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I had this label on the ground, I would end up at negative 2. So it's just sort of like a physical representation of adding and subtracting numbers with signs. So you can draw a little number line in your notes if that helps at first. So the commutative property, if anything is commutative, this word right here, you guys are going to want to write this in your notes, and I just wrote right over it so you can't see it. Don't worry. Okay, commutative property of addition. The order in which two real numbers are added doesn't affect the sum. So if I took 4 plus 3, it's going to give me 7, right? And if I took 3 plus 4, I'm also going to get 7. So basically what commutative is telling us is that we can switch these numbers around and we're still going to get the same answer in the end. Can anyone think of something that's not commutative? Some sort of operation that's not commutative? Drew? Yeah, great. So 4 minus 3 gives us 1, right? But 3 minus 4 gives us negative 1. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. You don't need to write that down. Just sort of be thinking about what kind of things can I switch around and it's still the same, what kind of things might not be commutative. Okay, so use directed numbers. We're going to use the number line again to add negative 4, negative 1, 2, and 5. So let's see, we're going to start at 0 again. It wants us to go negative 4, so we're going to go back 4 on the number line to negative 4. So then we're here. And now it's saying we want to add 2, so from negative 4, we're going to go up 2, and now we're at negative 2, right? So that's plus 2, this is minus 4. Okay, so now we're right here. Now it wants us to subtract 1 again. So we're going to go from here back 1. So that's getting harder to tell, but now we're at negative 3. And then we want to add 5. So we go from negative 3, I won't do yellow, that's going to be hard to see, up 5, which hopefully, if I went the right way, it should end us at positive 2. So it might have worked better if I just said we're going to go from 0, we're going to go back 4, up 2, back 1, and then up 5. And it ends us at 2. So that's just sort of a way to visualize it. Your answer would be 2 for that one. And that is lesson 5. Yay. Now we're going to do lesson 6. If you guys want to start a new heading on your notes or whatever, this is now lesson 6. This is what this set you guys are going to do for homework tonight. Okay, so now we're going to do rules for addition, adding more than 2 numbers, inserting parentheses mentally, which we aren't going to really have you guys do because we think it's more complicated, and the definition of subtraction. So first we're just going to start with some basic problems. So what's 7 plus negative 3? Yep, 4. Okay. How about negative 7 minus 3? Andrew?
Yeah,
Perfect. Negative 7 plus negative 3. That looks like the same problem to me. How about negative 2 plus negative 8? Yeah. Negative 10. Okay. Negative 7 plus positive 3. Yeah. Good. Dylan. Negative 2 plus positive 8. Anybody? Anybody? Yeah. Good. Negative 4 plus negative 1. Yep. Negative 5. Riley. Still really trying to get all your guys' names down. Positive 2 plus negative 8. Yep. Nico, negative 6. Perfect. Okay. That's just sort of a warm-up. We'll do plenty more of these. Pretty good. Okay. Adding more than 2 numbers. So what we're going to think about when we're adding more than 2 numbers, and we see we have some positives and some negatives in there, is we're going to put them on teams of positive and negative. So we see we have some negatives. We have a negative 5. We have a negative 3. We also have 2 positives. We have a positive 4, and we have a positive 2, right? So what we want to do is we're going to put these ones together. So positive 4 and positive 2 gives us what? 6, yeah. Got it out. Now we also have a team of negatives. Negative 5 and negative 3 gives us what? Negative 8. Perfect. So these guys give us negative 8. So now which team is bigger? The negatives, right? Because the negatives have a higher value. So when we do this addition, our final answer is going to be negative because the negative team is bigger. So what's negative 8 plus 6? Negative 2. Yep. So we know the difference between these two numbers is 2. And since our negative team is bigger, our final answer is going to be negative 2. So if we do it again for this one, our negative team gives us negative 5. Our positive team this time gives us positive 6. So which team is bigger? The positives, right? So we have negative 5 and 6. This is going to give us a positive 1. So the difference between 6 and 5 is 1. And since our positive team is bigger, our final answer is 1. Okay, so inserting parentheses mentally, if you guys are the type who prefers to read the book, which can be a good idea, by the way, if you think something's confusing, your Saxon book will tell you to insert parentheses mentally. So it's going to say, you want to add on parentheses to this. But we still think it's easiest to just team them up again. So we're going to go through and we're going to find the positives. There's a positive. The rest of them are negatives, right? So we have negative 4, negative 3. So I'll probably just do it by sides. So I think it's easy to break it down a little bit. So the negative 4 and the negative 3 gives us negative 7. And all of these guys together, negative 4, negative 3 is negative 7. And another negative 2 is negative 9. You just get that if you go across. And then we still have this positive in here, though, that's positive 2. If we combine the negatives together to give us the negative team, negative 9 minus 7 is negative 16. And we have plus 2 on there. So what we find for this is the negative team is definitely bigger, right? But we have this positive 2, so we're going to get negative 14 for that one. Okie dokie. So now this one's a little different. We have this absolute value guy in here, right? So I would say I would worry about this absolute value first. We can just get rid of those absolute value bars. So what's the absolute value of negative 2? Perfect. So we can just turn this guy into a plus 2 and rewrite the rest. Plus 3 minus 7 minus 2. Okay, now we can do our teams. We have a negative here, negative 4, negative 7, oops, negative 2. So if we want to add all those together, negative 4 minus 7 is negative 11, minus another 2 is negative 13. And then we have these two positive guys right here. They'll go on a team together to make plus 5. Negative team again wins. These guys win. So we will get negative 8 for our answer. Next. Okay, the definition of subtraction, you guys will want to put this in your notes. It basically is just telling us that A minus B is the exact same thing as A plus negative B. So whichever way is easier for you guys to think about it, it's just telling us that these two things are the same thing. So that's why when it's saying insert parentheses, and we're saying it's probably just easiest to actually get rid of those parentheses, we can just change, when it says A plus negative B, we can just rewrite it as A minus B. Same thing. Okay, so 7 minus 4 gives us 3, right? 7 plus negative 4, we can rewrite that as 7 minus 4, and it gives us 3. Same thing. So if you prefer it one way or the other, stick to it. Now we're going to do whiteboards today, guys. So you can grab the whiteboard under your desk. Okay, if you have your own expo marker, definitely pull it out. Does anybody need one? Need to borrow one? down one by one. Once you get the answer right, just go ahead and show it, and I'll tell you if you're right. Good, good, good. Yep, so remember, just do the answer on the inside of these guys before you take the absolute value. The next one. -2 plus 3 is 1. Absolute value of 1 is 12. Good, 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 good. Good, 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 good. Good, good, good. Not quite. Good, 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 good. So negative 10 on the inside, right? But we have absolute value bars on it. All right, nice guys. So on that one, remember we want to figure out what's on the inside. So the inside would have been negative 10, right? And if we absolute value that, we get positive 10. A little bit of a longer one for you. We're getting different. Good, good, good. Little off, little off. Good, good. Good, good. Good, good. Good. So remember, I would tackle the absolute value part first. Get rid of that. Good, good. Good. Did you get it though? Or did you just have to tell you? Okay. And this guy will be our last one.